Hi, it's Jeff here. I want to just give a quick little video vlog on the kind of a follow-up to my language industry visibility rut videos. I've done two of them in the past 2 weeks. I did the first one, kind of had woken up and in the morning just kind of decided, hey, I want to answer a LinkedIn reply, a blog post, and decided kind of do it quickly. And I just kind of did, and whatever the lighting conditions are. Well, then I got my hair cut and then decided to kind of do it in a better lighting conditions. And I did a version 2, which is a little bit shorter. I had an outline too. It wasn't just off the top of my head. Now I'm in a sequel thing here at McDonald's. It's a cold evening. I got a coffee, and while I was driving around, I kind of stop and do a few of these vlogs on different topics. And so I want to do a sequel here really quickly on the whole topic of kind of the follow-up and some of the things that were brought up about the language industry visibility, and I don't want to restate all of them, but the whole thing you want to do is you want to have value in what you're doing. You want to have visibility in what you're working on, and you want to be visible to be able to sell, to be able to get resources, to get to time, to get money, funding for your projects, your products, and whatever. Okay. And you want to be able to focus on those and get them to deliver them and make them successful. Okay. And you want to be visible in doing this, okay? And you want to be visible either to your customers, you want to be visible to your management, upper management. If you're in a department, it kind of depends. If you're a small company, you don't have to worry about upper management. It's just, everybody's kind of working on the thing and want to sell the thing, because if you don't, then you won't have money at the end of the month to pay for the bills and pay for your salaries. Um, but if you're in a company and you have to be make sure that you're aligning that all the things that you're working on are aligning with and kind of fulfilling your upper management goals, objectives, KPIs, whatever they may be, okay? Because if you're not fulfilling those things with the things that you're working on, then they will not be highlighted in some PowerPoint at the end of the day, or in some newsletter, a monthly newsletter or quarterly newsletter, saying, hey, here's the things we did, because it didn't align with those upper ones. And you see, you worked on this thing, you spent all this time working on it, and it didn't get listed in the top list, because it just didn't fulfill what they're trying to show upwards. Make sure what you're doing fulfills that when you're working in a department or a division, okay? Um, but the risk in all this is sometimes when, again, the whole the industry visibility topic was about being visible, right? And how to be visible, and finding other ways to be visible that are different than the ones I kind of criticize for kind of being repetitive visibility, which actually can actually lead nowhere. Um, I could, right? So, but what happens sometimes is that there are people in the search for value and for visibility. We all do want to be, we all want to be proud of what we're doing, okay? That really comes down to what keeps us in teams, what keeps us in a project, what keeps us in a company, what keeps us in places rather than going elsewhere and looking for greener, greener grass, okay? And watch out for the greener grass, because the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. You know why? Because there are more cow pies, okay? I'm not going to take your credit for this. I heard that when I was 15 years old in a youth camp, and that just stuck with me for the past 40 years. I've been saying that quote, and it's not me, not mine, but hey, it's a great quote, and I live by it. Okay, um, but what happens if you don't have value in what you're doing? You don't feel proud of what you are doing and delivering on a daily basis. If you don't, then you're going to seek value in other things. And the risk in seeking value and proposing things and saying, hey, when I'm working on this and work that, you're going to start suggesting things that are outside of the scope of what is under the strategy of the management, whatever, the product or the management or whatever, kind of going upward. Um, and what you'll do is you'll start working on these rabbit trails, paths, and then you'll be detracting from the core business of what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm not saying that's bad. Sometimes it's good. I've made done some really successful things where actually they were rabbit trails, but I proved that they were justified. I proved and justified that they had value and that they were going to make us visible, and it worked. It totally worked. But I justified that, and I made sure that it was clear that the reason for that and the purpose. But if you're just pursuing it and then you're not willing to go and sacrifice some things and decide what you're going to do, um, you can end up creating other derivative problems from it. You can create jealousy in the teams because why is so and so working on a raid under the radar project? I've kind of been in that situation before, and people wonder what I'm doing. Um, and and or you want to create the jealousy, or you don't want to have some things that just don't align. In the end, they don't get listed. Okay, or you have people that are working on things that's detracting the work and the attention. Just the attention, detracting from the workload of the people that can be working on the core business. Because if you don't actually finish your core business and actually your products or services, but your core business, then you're not going to be meeting your own objectives again, and that's the thing. And so sometimes it kind of be an issue if you say, well, we deliver these extra value things, but we didn't finish what we were supposed to do. That can not look too good. So you gotta really think about this. You need to really evaluate and prioritize them with regard to the ones that are the core business. Okay, um, and some of the things that you just really want to make sure of when you're doing your core business things is yeah, special language solutions. Make sure that you got the user requirements. Okay, don't cheat on that. Okay, just make sure you got that you're doing that. Um, Make sure that you have a difference between a project manager and a product manager. Okay, because it's not the same deal here. Some people can do both. I can do both. Okay, but not everybody can, or not everybody's been trained to do it. Um, and uh, and you want to make sure that the product manager isn't have to deal with the project management stuff too, if that's not what something that they like to do, or and especially if you're doing Scrum or Agile stuff, you got to make sure you got somebody in place to kind of do that, and that can be called even the Scrum Master. I don't care what you call it, but you got to just make sure that somebody's there, kind of dealing with it, because stuff is moving. It's all the requirements are changing, all that kind of stuff. You got to make to handle that. Make sure that you are testing your product good, well, okay? Don't kind of do like just, well, some volunteer testing kind of stuff, because you will damage the reputation of your project if the product, if you deliver it and it's not done, okay? Make sure that these few things, plus training, if you need to have the training documentation, if it needs it or not. Sometimes it doesn't need as much because it might be intuitive, but kind of look at all this stuff and make sure that you are fulfilling each of these points that make your product successful, and you're not spending too much time on these derivative rabbit trails to try to get more visibility in that stuff, and then you're detracting from the stuff that you can actually be your core business. Okay, um, uh, it's these are the kind of things that I just kind of want to re-highlight in all this. So I want to keep this under 10 minutes, and I'm getting kind of close to right now. We're at 8 minutes, but kind of look at those things, think about them, make sure that you're aligned. You're kind of fulfilling the strategy up higher in your organization, or however high may be. Just kind of do all these things. Think about them, and make the value of what you're doing. Make your employees want to stay where they want to stay. That they feel value what they're doing, and that they feel proud of what they're doing, and then they're not trying to look for other value in other things. Okay, and especially in this industry, as I said in my previous video on visibility, where people are struggling with finding the visibility. And trying to figure out what their value is in all this. So think about that. Uh, really do some pondering and some deeper thinking about how to make that really successful for you, and what you are providing to your community, your stakeholders, your customers, internal or external, whatever they be. Okay, so have a good day.